So the TV industry, Clint, he had to make sure all the cables were very well grounded. And then he started to wonder if people need to be grounded.
And what I saw with cable TV was, it was bigger than Billings, Montana. The world was bigger than where I lived. I ended up in Denver, Colorado, working for Telecommunications, Inc. One day, I was home with my children, and I had bought them computers. We could do checkbooks and play games. That was all we could do with them back then. It just dawned on me, I said, that's a TV set without a signal. So I had this brainstorm, and I thought, well, let's go get all these wire services together and put them into a unified data stream, feed them over the satellite and down the cable system, feed them into a computer. And the main thing that happened at that time that was probably very significant for the cable industry was we created the first cable modem. It changed the world in a day, in a moment. I was living in a 5,000 square foot A-frame log cabin on top of a mountain in Evergreen, Colorado. I was 49 years old playing King of the Mountain, and I won. I had everything you could imagine: cars, a home in Breckenridge, skiing. Most of all, I had a lot of art. I probably had, I hate to say it, but $250,000 worth of art hanging in my bathroom over the commode. I mean, because there was no place else to hang things. About 1994, 95, I was attending a lot of Christmas parties, and I got sick. One Sunday, I couldn't get out of bed, and I was turning yellow. I looked at my eyes were yellow, everything was yellow. And so they took me to an emergency room. They couldn't figure out what was wrong, but I was losing everything. My liver was shutting down. I was only 40, and they said, you need to think about getting your house in order because you're young enough to get a new liver, but you may not have time. I was on every IV, every type of antibiotic you can probably inject into a person. And they said that they had a surgeon that wanted to experiment and see if there was a way they could go in and cut out all the liver that had been damaged, which was the majority of it. I agreed to that because I really had no option. I remember I was in surgery, thought that was the last time I would see. And I woke up a few days later in ICU. And I remember my secretary was right here in my face. My first thought was, I didn't know that you had died. The pain started coming on, then I realized that I was still here. It took about a year for my energy to recover. One morning I woke up and I looked out the window and I noticed that everything was more energetic. The sky was vibrant, everything was vibrant. I thought I was left over for drugs, I didn't know. But I looked around the room that I was laying in, and I said to myself that this is all crazy, this house, everything is crazy because I almost died. All I had ever done was collect these things, and I spent my life taking care of them. I didn't own any of this stuff because when I die, I go away. They really owned me. They owned my soul. I went through this feeling that I just had to get rid of everything, push everything away from me. Anything that was material, even though I loved it and I spent my life collecting it and taking care of it, I had to push it away. So I called my children and I said, I want you to come and take whatever there is in this house that you want. One of them called the doc and said, there's something wrong with my dad. He needs to see a psychologist. And I remember seeing the psychologist and there's nothing wrong with me. This is what I have to do this. After disposing and giving and getting rid of everything, I decided I wanted to change my life, and I bought an RV and I went on a road trip. And I ended up in Sedona, Arizona. One day I was sitting at a computer and the computer kept crashing. I knew it was static electricity, so I put a piece of tape across my desk and grounded it. Then I realized in that process that the outlet wasn't grounded, so I fixed it so that I could get rid of the static electricity. I didn't think too much about it. I walked outdoors and I sat on a bench. This tour bus pulled up, and it looked like they had just been to one of these outlet malls, and white Nike shoes were on sale.
These grounding studies were positive. What was grounding actually doing inside the human body? The answer may surprise you.